Welcome back to the Foundation in C# course. We're currently in Module 9. In this lesson, we're going to be building out the rooms table. So your homework is to create the table that holds the rooms in our SQLite database. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video right now and do that. All right, I'm going to assume that you are now done. So let's go over to Visual Studio. I'm going to open up the rooms table. And now I'm going to bring my browser back up here. I'm going to add a new table. I call it rooms. I'll add an ID field. And also there's integer, not null, primary key, and auto incrementing. I'm going to add a room number. And that's going to be a text, not null. And I'll add a room type ID, and that's going to be a type integer, also not null. All right. And with that, we can actually be done with our rooms table. So hit OK. So now we will save these changes. But there's one thing we don't have yet. Notice that we have this foreign key rooms to room type. Well, how do we reference that in SQLite? Well, if we go back to our rooms table and hit Modify Table, in our room type column, if we scroll over here, we have foreign key. And if we double click here, we can say this references the room types and the ID. So that now has a foreign key. Now the one tricky bit here is that if you don't want to have any type of clauses, and we don't, we just want to have a foreign key, then what you need to do is click off this before you hit OK. So click off it. Now you have a foreign key. Notice foreign key room type ID references room types ID, which looks very, very familiar with our constraint in SQL. We hit OK. Notice there's our same thing. So their reference is room type.id. So now, don't forget, we also need to write those changes if we haven't already. Let's make sure they're there. Room types, okay. And it's saying we have no changes to write, which is incorrect. So what I'm going to do is I am going to actually create something to write. So create table test, and we're going to add a field called ID and hit OK. And now we have write changes. And now we can go ahead and delete the table and then write those changes as well. So a little bit of a hack there, but we're working with the tooling here and making sure that we understand what's going on. Sometimes it causes those kind of little quirks. So that should be all we need to do in order to get the rooms in our database. Now the next step is going to be to add the guest table to our database.